USPAP 7-hour National Update Course, 2022 through 2023, Chapter 5. Where does the answer to your question live? Page 4. This question is not as simple as it may first appear. The answer to this question may not be immediately evident, or it might live in several different parts of USPAP or in the guidance. And that is the point of this part of the course. It is designed not to give you answers to specific questions, but to teach you how to become more skilled at finding answers to your USPAP related questions. All of that was highlighted. End of page. You missed a question in the pre-course assessment that related to the content on this page. Please study this information on this page carefully so you will be better able to answer questions about this material on upcoming quizzes. A state credentialed appraiser has been offered an appraisal assignment on a complex property. The appraiser wants to know whether the state-issued credential will permit them to appraise the property. Which of these is the best source to find the answer to this question? Page 5. Example questions. Below is a short list of questions, edited for simplicity, that the Appraisal Standards Board has received in the recent past, along with the parts of USPAP you would likely first search when you are trying to find an answer to a question. How do I know if my license credential allows me to appraise the property? Definition of appraiser and competency rule. Does an appraiser performing an appraisal review assignment have to review a purchase contract? Standard 3 and scope of work rule. Can my relative take photos of the comparable sales for my assignments? Definition of assignment conditions and scope of work rule. It is important to note that not all questions can be answered in the USPAP publication. For example, the first question on this page, which addresses permitted activities under license credentials, is not specifically addressed in USPAP. The issue of permitted activities for state credentialed appraisers is addressed in state law. The definition of appraiser in USPAP does not even mention a state-issued credential. End of page.
Just as USPAP does not address permitted activities for state credentialed appraisers, it also does not answer these questions that appraisers often ask. I want to upgrade my credential. What are the education and/or experience requirements? How do I develop the sales comparison cost income approach to value? What form should I use to report an appraisal on a 2-unit property, commercial property, industrial property, vacant land property? The answer to the first question is a matter of state laws and regulations. USPAP does not issue qualifications. The Appraiser Qualifications Board of the Foundation does issue the qualifications for the various appraisal credentials, but states are permitted to adopt more stringent qualifications. The answer to the second question above may be found in appraisal textbooks and literature. USPAP requires that appraisers use recognized methods and techniques, but does not specify how to perform these techniques. For example, an appraiser may decide to use qualitative or quantitative techniques in developing the sales comparison approach. As long as those techniques are recognized in the appraisal profession, USPAP does not instruct appraisers which methods to use or how to develop them. Finally, USPAP requires that appraisal reports on real property contain the minimum content requirements specified in Standard 2. Form, format, and style of an appraisal report are not prescribed by USPAP.
Page 7. More questions. When you read questions like the ones from 2 pages ago, you should realize that important details are often missing from the questions. To be able to answer questions of this type, it's imperative that you analyze them carefully so that you understand all the details specific to the circumstance that has caused the question to be raised in the first place. In most cases, before you can answer a question, you may likely need to think about its background details. Only then will you be able to understand where to find an answer. Knowing the following about your question is what will guide you to your answer. For example, which appraisal discipline does this question apply to? Can USPAP even answer my question? What types of questions can USPAP help solve? Is the question about trying to understand whether I am performing a valuation service as an appraiser or not? Is the question one that relates to appraisal practice in general, or to a specific appraisal or appraisal review assignment? What information is implied in the question? What information is missing in the question? Is there potential conflict between the assignment conditions and USPAP? Is my question about lacking information needed to design the scope of work? Am I competent to complete the assignment? Does the assignment involve reliance on third parties, appraisers, or others? Is this an appraisal or appraisal review assignment? When did the question come up? At the time of initial assessment, while collecting data, while forming opinions, while completing a report, or having reported results, after having reported results? To become skilled at finding answers quickly, it can take practice to understand all the elements you need to know about your question. Now, let's use an example to problem solve a question. End of page. Quiz. Number 1. You are a state credentialed appraiser, and you have been offered an appraisal assignment on a complex property. You are questioning whether or not your state-issued credential will permit you to appraise the property. What is the best source to find the answer to this question? Ready, set, go. A, the FAQs in the USPAP publication. B, your state appraiser licensing law. C, USPAP, specifically the ethics rule. Or D, the advisory opinions in USPAP publication. I'm going to go FAQs. God damn it, I still got it wrong, man. All right. So, the correct answer was B, your state appraiser licensing law. I know I should have known that. They got me. It is important to note that not all questions can be answered in the USPAP publication. For example, questions about the permitted activities under various license credential levels are not specifically addressed in USPAP. The issue of permitted activities for state credentialed appraisers is addressed in state law. Chapter 5, example questions. Number 2, an appraiser is developing an appraisal on a complex income-producing property and wants to develop a discounted cash flow analysis. Where should the appraiser go to find information on how to develop this valuation method? Ready, set, go. A, USPAP, specifically the scope of work rule. B, appraisal textbooks. C, the FAQs in the USPAP publication. Or D, state laws and regulations. I'm going to go appraisal textbooks. Yeah! All right, we got it right. So remember, an appraiser is developing an appraisal on a complex income-producing property and wants to develop a discounted cash flow analysis. Where should the appraiser go to find information on how to develop this valuation method? You said appraisal textbooks, and that was correct. That's what I would do. Number 3. Finding where the answer to your question lives in the USPAP publication is not as simple as it may first appear. Why is this? Ready? Wait, let me double check. Finding where the answer to your question lives in the USPAP publication is not as simple as it may first appear. Why is this? Ready, set, go. A, the answer may live in several different parts of USPAP or in the guidance. B, the USPAP publication does not contain a table of contents. C, USPAP is written in legalese and is difficult to read and understand. Or D, answering such questions requires an appraiser to memorize USPAP and no one can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna go USPAP doesn't contain the table of contents. Nope, got it wrong. Damn it, they got me. All right. The correct answer was A. The answer may live in several different parts of USPAP or in the guidance. They got me. This question, where does the answer live, is not as simple as it may first appear. The answer to this question may not be immediately evident and / or it might live in several different parts of USPAP or in the guidance. Chapter 5, where does the answer live? Page 8, example problem. In the example below, the 2020 through 2022 USPAP publication is used to find answers. The question is asked in this example. A client asked me to change the name of the borrower on an appraisal report. May I do that? We will employ our 3-step approach to solving this question. Number 1, define the problem. Number 2, identify sources for solutions. And number 3, conclude the answer. End of page.